William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare. The Enduring Enigma of William Shakespeare. A comprehensive exploration. William Shakespeare, a name that resonates through the corridors of time, remains the most celebrated and influential writer in the English language. His life, a tapestry woven with threads of humble beginnings, soaring ambition, and unparalleled literary genius, has been the subject of intense scholarly debate and popular fascination for centuries. This in-depth exploration delves into the known facts of his personal life, his monumental achievements, his profound understanding of the human psyche, and the enduring legacy of his work that continues to shape literature, language, and thought. Personal information. The man from Stratford-upon-Avon. Born in Stratford-upon-Avon, a market town in Warwickshire, England, William Shakespeare was baptized on April 26, 1564. His birth date is traditionally celebrated on April 23, which is also the date of his death in 1616. He was the eldest surviving son of John Shakespeare, a successful glover and leather merchant who held several civic offices, including that of bailiff, similar to a mayor, and Mary Arden, the daughter of a prosperous farmer. John Shakespeare's prominent standing likely afforded his son a respectable education at the King's New School in Stratford, where the curriculum was heavily focused on Latin classics, rhetoric, and literature. This classical education would profoundly influence his later work. At the age of 18 in 1582, Shakespeare married Anne Hathaway, who was 26 and pregnant with their first child. Their daughter Susanna was born 6 months later, followed by twins, Hamnet and Judith, in 1585. Tragically, Hamnet died at the age of 11, a loss that some scholars believe may have influenced Shakespeare's later tragedies. The period between 1585 and 1592 is often referred to as Shakespeare's lost years, as there are no definitive records of his activities. By 1592, however, he had emerged in London as an established actor and playwright, famously derided by a rival as an upstart crow. Career growth and achievements. From player to preeminent playwright, Shakespeare's career in London was multifaceted and highly successful. He was not only a gifted writer but also a shrewd businessman and actor. He was a founding member and principal playwright of the Lord Chamberlain's Men, a leading acting company that, in 1603, came under the patronage of King James I and was renamed the King's Men. This association provided him with a stable income and a dedicated troupe to bring his plays to life. He was also a shareholder in the company and in the iconic Globe Theatre, built in 1599, where many of his most famous plays were first performed. His financial success allowed him to purchase New Place, the second largest house in Stratford, in 1597, and to make other significant real estate investments, reflecting his ambition for social status. In 1596, his family was granted a coat of arms, a significant mark of gentility. While formal awards and certificates as we know them today did not exist in Shakespeare's time, his achievements are measured by his prolific output and his lasting impact. He wrote approximately 39 plays, 154 sonnets, and 2 long narrative poems. His works have been translated into every major living language and are performed more often than those of any other playwright. A library of masterpieces. Shakespeare's written works. Shakespeare's plays are traditionally categorized into 3 genres: comedies, histories, and tragedies. Some of his later plays are also referred to as romances or tragicomedies due to their blending of genres. Comedies. Known for their wit, wordplay, and happy endings, often culminating in marriage. A Midsummer Night's Dream, As You Like It, A Much Ado About Nothing, Twelfth Night, The Merchant of Venice, also considered a problem play. The Taming of the Shrew. Histories. Dramatizing the lives of English kings and the political turmoil of their reigns. A Richard III, a Henry IV, Parts 1 and 2, a Henry V, a Julius Caesar, also classified as a tragedy. Tragedies. Exploring the downfall of a noble protagonist through a fatal flaw or a series of unfortunate events. A Hamlet, Othello, King Lear, a Macbeth, a Romeo and Juliet, Antony and Cleopatra. Romances. Later plays that often feature fantastical elements, long journeys, and family reunions. The Tempest, The Winter's Tale, a Cymbeline. His 154 sonnets, published in 1609, explore themes of love, beauty, time, and mortality with unparalleled linguistic dexterity. His 2 long narrative poems, Venus and Adonis 1593, and The Rape of Lucrece 1594, were his first published works and were dedicated to his patron, Henry Wriothesley, the Earl of Southampton. Famous quotes. Words that echo through the ages. Shakespeare's works are a treasure trove of memorable quotes that have become ingrained in the English language. Here are a few examples with their meanings and implications. To be or not to be? That is the question. Hamlet. This iconic line encapsulates Hamlet's deep philosophical contemplation of life, death, and suicide, weighing the pain of existence against the uncertainty of the afterlife. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. As You Like It. This metaphor suggests that life is a performance, and people play different roles throughout their lives, from infancy to old age. Love looks not with the eyes but with the mind, and therefore is winged Cupid painted blind. A Midsummer Night's Dream. This quote suggests that true love transcends physical appearance and is based on a deeper, intellectual, and emotional connection. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves that we are underlings. Julius Caesar. Cassius argues that fate does not control human destiny. Rather, people have the power to shape their own lives through their actions. Stars, hide your fires. Let not light see my black and deep desires. Macbeth. Macbeth reveals his dark ambition to become king, asking the heavens to conceal his murderous thoughts. Inspirations and influences. The wellspring of genius. Shakespeare was a voracious reader, who drew inspiration from a wide array of sources. His education provided him with a deep knowledge of classical literature, which he skillfully adapted for the stage. The Roman poet Ovid's Metamorphoses was a particularly significant influence, providing plots and themes for plays like A Midsummer Night's Dream and Romeo and Juliet. He also borrowed from the works of earlier English writers, most notably Geoffrey Chaucer, whose Canterbury Tales and Troilus and Chrysaid provided source material and a model for characterization. The historical chronicles of Raphael Holinshed and the biographies of Plutarch were essential sources for his history plays and Roman tragedies. Among his contemporaries, Christopher Marlowe was a major influence. Marlowe's pioneering use of blank verse and his creation of complex tragic heroes paved the way for Shakespeare's own dramatic innovations. Influence on psychology. The Bard as an early psychologist. Long before the formal discipline of psychology existed, Shakespeare demonstrated a profound understanding of the human mind. His plays are essentially case studies in human nature, exploring the complexities of emotions, motivations, and mental states. A psychological realism. His characters are not one-dimensional archetypes but fully realized individuals with complex inner lives. He masterfully portrays the destructive power of jealousy in Othello, the paralyzing effects of guilt in Lady Macbeth, and the descent into madness in King Lear. An exploration of the subconscious. Through soliloquies, Shakespeare gives the audience direct access to his characters' innermost thoughts and desires, revealing the hidden conflicts and motivations that drive their actions. Understanding of human behavior. He implicitly understood cognitive biases and emotional reasoning, showing how characters often make decisions based on intuition and passion rather than logic. Sigmund Freud himself recognized Shakespeare's psychological insight, famously analyzing Hamlet's Oedipus complex. Social life, other interests, and travels. While much of his time was consumed by the theater, Shakespeare maintained a life in both London and Stratford. In London, he lodged with various families, including a French Huguenot family named Mountjoy. His social circle would have included his fellow actors, playwrights like Ben Jonson, and patrons from the aristocracy. His primary passion outside of the theater appears to have been his business and real estate investments, which were aimed at securing his family's financial future and elevating their social status. There is no evidence that Shakespeare ever traveled outside of England. The detailed Italian settings of many of his plays were likely the result of his extensive reading, his interactions with London's immigrant population, and his powerful imagination. Family and descendants. Shakespeare's wife, Anne, and their children remained in Stratford while he worked in London. His only son, Hamnet, died in 1596. His daughter Susanna married a respected physician, John Hall, and had one daughter, Elizabeth. His daughter Judith married Thomas Quiney, a vintner, and had 3 sons, all of whom died without children. Shakespeare's direct line of descendants ended with the death of his granddaughter, Elizabeth, in 1670. Theories and controversies. The authorship question. Despite the wealth of evidence connecting William Shakespeare of Stratford to the works attributed to him, a persistent authorship question has been debated since the 19th century. Proponents of this theory, often called anti-Stratfordians, argue that a man of Shakespeare's relatively humble origins and limited formal education could not have possessed the knowledge and literary skill evident in the plays and poems. Numerous candidates have been proposed as the true author, including Sir Francis Bacon, Christopher Marlowe, and most popularly Edward de Vere, the 17th Earl of Oxford. However, the vast majority of Shakespearean scholars and literary historians dismiss these claims as fringe theories, citing the substantial contemporary evidence that attributes the works to Shakespeare of Stratford. William Shakespeare's life and work represent a pinnacle of human creativity. From his modest beginnings, he rose to become the most revered writer in the English language, a master of drama, poetry, and the profound complexities of the human heart. His legacy is not merely a collection of plays and poems, but a living, breathing body of work that continues to challenge, inspire, and illuminate our understanding of ourselves and the world around us. The end. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.